Good day, beautiful souls. I'm sharing my morning coffee with you and this message that came through very clearly. And I realized that it's not just for me, it needs to be shared. And it's about this business of spiritual awakening that is getting quite real. It is getting quite raw. We're getting to the meat of it. And part of it is, I've been working with this idea of mastery, that we need to get to this level. To me, it's the only way forward, to deepen the realization of who we are, to be firm in our skills. But boy, when this up leveling shows up, it's also to the next level, just incredible. And so I'm starting with the conclusion, just with the message kind of outside of the context, outside of the details, even though the details are beautiful and amazing. But I don't want to lose you. I just want to hopefully get it out there as clear and concise, in case I do lose you. Because again, we are beyond subscribers and followers, and we're now in this mode of transmission of something truly incredibly big and raw, just so to the core. And so here it is. It's about this spiritual transmutation. And when when you are going through this process, because yes, this process is personal to us, but it is not unique to us. And I know many of us are going through this right now, maybe in preparation for the solstice, but the timing is not what matters. Is when something like this is happening, it is an unrooting, an ungrounding, and an uplifting with everything. This time was also sort of in my body. I don't even know how I have a body, and it doesn't have to be that in depth, but you know that you're going through this death and rebirth, right? Because this uprooting is happening, and you are losing the stability of reality, of what is, of who you are. Things are becoming very unstable, and you're getting to this point of I don't know, right? And it's kind of exactly the same thing as you're throwing an object into the air. The velocity of it is decreasing until it's getting to this zero still point, right? And when you're getting to that point, the darkness is at the highest level. So a metaphor, which is actually not really a metaphor at all, you are moving from form into formlessness. And in that I don't know point, which is the zero velocity point, it's kind of bringing you to this many times subconscious decision point. And the decision, again, I don't think we have a decision to make, but it's it seems that it could be a decision. And this is the message. As you're coming down from the height of the unknown, that you have traveled into your expansion, the agony of I don't fucking know who I am or anything, you're coming back into form. And as you're traveling back and rooting back into the body, into this reality, be sure to bring with you the truth, or truth. and not the hope of what you would prefer. Because that hope is a projection, is a memory from the past reality, the past you. And so if you're bringing any of that back as you stabilize, it's not fully the fullness of your authenticity of this truth that I'm talking about. And it's very uncomfortable, but that's how you know you're bringing in the fullness of it. Because you just don't know. You're so lost. And yet, within that paradox, that is the fullness of you. Does that make sense? I hope it makes sense, because that's truly the message. If you can't do it, there's still pieces of hope, the pieces of want, desire. That's okay, because this is not the only death and rebirth we're going to go through. No, there's many. And we get to practice this bringing back the full truth more and more and more. So don't, it's almost like don't strive to do that, but it's truly this allowing, and this allowing is truly terrifying. I understand not knowing what planet you're on, not, people say, wow, can you believe, like, it's already the solstice, it's halfway through the year. And I was just like, I don't have any issue with time, really. I don't know. I mean, I look outside, it's like it's summer. I guess it's summer. It's freezing though this morning. I have to have a blanket. And it's so funny. I'm wrapped into a blanket with Darth Vader from Star Wars, right? And it's like the darkness is still with me. I'm still arriving. That's what I'm saying. The message is sort of for me, but it's not personal, because this is a collective journey. And the truth that we are embodying at this time, it is crazy pertinent and important. And so that was the message. Be sure to allow the truth. Also allowing this uncomfortableness, the even if there is fear alongside it, okay, let it be there and do it anyway, right? That is the definition of courage. And that's why we had to move so hard into the dark this time around. I mean, for me, it was just insane. The traveling far into this darkness was, a lot. Anyway, how this message came about is that I'm pondering and meditating with this question. I had to write it down. What do you need to move on from? And by golly, I mean, this is the question for 2 weeks now. And that's the issue that I've been traveling along, right? Just letting go of everything. Like, I don't even know anymore, right? And as this question came up again, it's like, you gotta be kidding me, because I feel like that 0 point was surpassed and I'm finally coming down. And yet, as I'm integrating, this question is still there. And at this point, it's like, I have no idea, because my core is so light. The fragments of me, that's why this death is not like a typical death. All my deaths in the past were clean. You know what I mean? It's like a knowing that I'm dying. It's just there. It's not in my head. It's not a depression. It's not It's just this deep knowing in the heart that you're knowing. You're knowing that you're dying. And it's not like you're dying eventually, right? Because we kind of know that. It's just what we do. And yet it's like every day you wake up and it's like, yep, you're dying. And you're living with that knowing throughout the day. So at one point, you're finally in that strength. It's like, I know that I'm dying. I'm done with this fear of dying. Fine. I'm ready to die any moment. And in that moment, that fear of dying just went and was gone, right? And that's the death cycle in the past. This time around, the death is not like that. The death is, and it was kind of like a spiritual death, like, yeah, the death in the body was, again, like very clear. It wasn't this, like, I just knew that I was dying. It was just clean cut, right? This time around, it's not really a death clean like that. It's like a metamorphosis of, imagine my body being these pixels, right? And these pixels are being taken one by one and unglued, yet, and it's kind of like the fascia, right? You're just taking these pieces, and the fascia is still this elastic web. Because, yeah, I guess I've been working with arachnia. I had all these spiders. None of them bit me, but I just have spiders wanting to be physically on me. Okay, that's another thing. But anyway, so I don't even know. It's not my essence, because my core is there and it's clean and whatever. It's good. But everything around my core has been dismantled, and like projected for me to see. It's still held together with this web, so it's not like completely vanished. They're just out in space, and so my cognitive everything is just bing, and I can't even talk. I have the idea of time is completely gone. Anything in the past, if it's 2 days ago or if it's 5 months ago, there's no relevance. I can't measure time like that. That's why it's like, it's summer. Yeah, I look outside, it's summer. Like, whatever. Like, I can't determine how long it's been within 2024. It's just today. Every day is just today. And it's messing with you because yes, of course, we want to be in the moment, but when we're finally in the moment, it's like, oh, the moment is not necessarily that what I thought. Like, cognitively speaking, it's really messing with my perception within the dimension of time. You know what I mean? Time is now truly a dimension. So it's like, when you put your focus into something, it becomes space and time within that focus. And then you're coming out of that pertinent focus and you're moving into a different focus. So time is truly related to the dimensionality of the idea within of what you're moving about. It's not time is not linear. Time is just these rooms of space. The depth of whatever it is that you're exploring. I don't know. I hope it makes sense. Anyway, so I'm working with this idea of, what am I moving from? And I have no idea, right? So I'm like, cards, I'm coming to you because it's like, I'm done exploring myself. I can't. And this card came, Temperance. I'm moving away from temperance. People are moving towards temperance? How are you moving away from temperance? Temperance is this union, this perfect alchemy of masculine and feminine. The higher duality is being coagulated. Look at this guy. He's a guy, but there's no perceived only masculine. It's a blend of feminine and masculine. It's a perfect blend of the sun and the moon and just this beauty. And I'm like, I'm so confused of what's going on right now. Like, okay, if this is true, if I'm moving away from temperance, what am I moving away? What am I moving towards? And I got justice. This is number 14. This is number 11, I think. Yeah. So I'm moving backwards, sort of, to justice. Just they're the same thing, right? It's a sort of the same type of idea. It's a balancing, but this balancing has a sword. This is soft. This is a higher realm type of balancing. This is like, let's just cut to the chase, and let's just freaking equalizing the equation here, right? Balancing the equation. That's what I meant to say, right? And that's kind of exactly this energy that I'm feeling as a collective basis. We're moving into the space of, I'm done playing nice. And it's not necessarily like we're still kind. Actually, we're the most kind. We're the most empathic. We're the most compassionate, but not without losing ourselves in that equation, right? It's almost like we're coming from that higher compassion and not this human distorted compassion where, oh, it's okay if I'm putting myself last. It's kind of like a victim type mentality. Or I think a lot of us are also moving through this theme of people pleasing, right? But even if before we were aware that, oh, I'm so people pleasing right now, I'm in it right now, and I want to choose my boundaries carefully. I want to choose how I communicate that carefully. So I'm still putting up my boundary. I'm still taking care of myself, but in a way that is nice and in a way that is not hurting the other person. And now we're coming to the point where it's like, I just don't have time for that, you know? So I'm still doing that, but in a very fair way, right? That's what the justice is. It's like, here is my share, here is your share. It's a transaction now. And that's the sword. While I was in this mode of transmutation, Archangel Metatron came to me, and I don't, you know, 10 years ago or so, everybody was channeling Metatron. Everybody was doing stuff. And for me, it was like, Metatron. I mean, even the name, it's like a character from Transformers or something. Sorry. I mean, so I never really worked with that because it was just like too weird for me. And he came to me. I'm like, oh my God, this stuff is real. And he gave me his sword, and I had it for 2 days to move through some of these big ideas within myself and to cut away these made up fake relationships, ideas, or the roles of these relationships, and how fake these relationships are, and how, like, oh, packaged. And I don't even know. I don't have the words. I'm not very good right now with words. I'm in this sort of like transactional, like, let's just equalize this out. What is mine? What is yours? Let's just equal it. And I think globally, many of us are truly coming into a quickening into, I don't have time to transact it in a soft way. here it is. And so last card, which was also a theme that came for this week, and here it is very clearly for me to look at. This lady is coming out of this darkness. She's landing. She's arriving. The crows have delivered her back from the expansion, but the darkness expansion. She's wearing all black. So that, to me, this is so me. All these words, but it's not me as the unique me. All these cosmic priestesses that have been gone through this process with me, because this is a group collective process. We have now arriving, and we're still having this blindfold on because we're stabilizing still. But when in the next days of this process, as this blindfold is coming out, this truth has to come out through our eyes unfiltered. This hope of who or what we want to see in our reality has to be dissolved. There should be no hope. There should be just reality projected out. And it's kind of big. And how of this unfolding is secondary. That is the outward purpose, the way Eckhart Tolle talks about it, right? The inner purpose is to have the truth being translated. The how, it's not our business. And I think this justice energy is helping through that translation. And for those of us who have struggled with people-pleasing tendencies, it's going to be difficult a little bit, right? Because there's physical personality traits that are different now. And we're having to deal with that. It's like, wow, I'm metaforming, is that a word? I don't know. My personality, my speech. I don't have my ready to go sentences. This is what I say typically. Those are gone. It's so interesting. I don't even know if it makes sense. If you're not going through something like this, it's really hard to make sense. If you're going through it, it's kind of chaotic. I don't know how coherent it sounds. It's just what it is. And if you're going through it, then it truly makes sense. And so, and I know I've seen some of you out there. It's I know you're going through it, and it's not like I have an attachment anymore. It's like it's just what the process is. So I surrender to it. If I still kind of, swear at it every once in a while, right? Because when you're in the darkness, it's almost like the words have to symbolically also reverberate. So, throw in an F-bomb here and there. It's also appropriate because it is vibrationally matching to that. So, yeah, we are in interesting times, and we're doing this together. We're up leveling to something so raw. So embrace it. It's hard. It is so effing hard. But when you're doing it together, somehow it's a lot easier. It is also this comfort from a body perspective of this joint venture. And so here we are with whatever it is. Soon we're not going to be able to really speak too much about it because we don't know. We don't know, and I mean, truly, we don't know because it hasn't. It's still in unform, no form, and um, so we're just being right now with each other. Once the form hits the manifestation planes, we can then describe it and start to talk about it in a more coherent ways. But it's definitely a joint venture. I'm just so honored. I'm just getting so emotional right now again because I so know this is Isis, the goddess. She's been walking around, touching all her representatives, male or female, I don't even care. It doesn't even make a difference. But just the people that I've been meeting and hearing about and all these stories, it's like she's coming. My mom just was telling me she's walking with these panthers. And I'm like, that's Isis, because that's I have a cat from Egypt. And so Isis has been with me on this journey all along. And I'm grateful. I even had to cry, and I'm so grateful. At least I can cry now because I've been so detached. And you have to be. I understand. Everything makes sense. And it's all for the comfort of going through this transformation, because the dark is so dark. So you have to be kind of, be removed from the humanness of you and these emotional body. It is such a very spiritual depth where emotions don't kind of serve a purpose, but you're left with, I don't know, it's hard. Anyway, she's been with me, and the stories, she's been going around just activating and calling everybody into service. And what is going on is just this amazing, just crazy collective union. Because what are the chances this is happening to hundreds, I don't know, thousands of people? it, there's no statistical, it's beyond any of that. The reality is so real at this moment that I can't even express it. So anyway, that was my very real message. And so I'm so honored to share in this journey with you of being and doing, because it's definitely doing. I think that the realization finally sunk into the cognitive portion of us that, oh my God, we are the divine embodied, and we are here to move into the purpose. And the purpose is so grand that it can't be not even a few select. No, this is so many select. And I'm just honored to be part of this journey with you. And I'm just so glad. At least I have tears today. It's just been something. So I'll see you. I'll be seeing you and feeling you around. Thank you.